Hi guys, Paul Pluta on the Paul Pluta channel. Today I'm doing a paid review, another one of these paid reviews. And before I start, quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing a Pan Man. Okay, this is from Joe. Archie, greetings from good old USA. Newbie wristwatch enthusiast at 67 years of age, relatively new to me. Watch is my father's 1969 to 70, more pedestrian Rolex Submariner. I believe you may find it interesting and possibly a video content, though my intent is really just to share an interesting story. My father actually wore this watch daily, even worked in the yard with it for years, and now it is mine. I have included a few pedestrian photos for your entertainment, and check your PayPal account for a small gift. Question: I may have 10 to 15,000 for a second watch, and I was wondering how you felt about one Rolex Daytona or two other fine watches. I have a slight love for the hunt. I'm not particularly concerned with resale. No airs of consequence. I will be wearing this as well as the sub as my deck tool. P.S. Love the Daytona and the Breguet, Omega Speedmaster Pro 007 and the IWC pilots and Breitling Navi timers. Love your reviews. Keep honing your persona. Regards, Joe. Well, Joe, amazing story indeed there. And Joe has sent some pictures of his this very rare watch. That watch, Joe, is very valuable. Very valuable indeed. My advice to you is it's probably worth somewhere between $15,000 and $25,000. Vintage Rolex Sports, extremely valuable. Now, the worst thing you could do with this watch is to send it to Rolex for a service, because they would immediately try and change the hands and the dial. They'd say, oh, they're damaged, etc., etc. Most of the value is in the hands and the dial. My advice to you would be to be very careful with the watch. I'd send it to a really good specialist who specializes in vintage Rolex. Be very careful, because some unscrupulous dealers would change parts. Do not, under any circumstance, do not take this thing in water. Even though it's a Submariner, believe you me, seals, etc., could possibly have perished, highly likely have perished. So I would be keeping this away from water. You'd really want to get this serviced by a vintage Rolex specialist, and to make sure that the parts are kept original. You don't want anyone to change dial or hand. So that's the most important thing on this watch you've got there. Very good find indeed. That's a grail to many people. These vintage Submariners, like your watch here, is a grail, super grail watch. So you're very lucky. Now, as to answer your question, you've got 10 to 15,000. Okay, now the thing you've got to remember is the whole Rolex market is very tough. Very hard indeed there. See, Rolex Daytonas, see, there may be a list price, but mere mortals cannot get them. So even though a Daytona may seem within your grasp, they are never in stock. So I don't think you quite realize how tricky it is. You can't just walk in and get a steel Daytona. It doesn't work like that. You may be able to get a two-tone Daytona from a pre-owned two-tone, or a new two-tone for that budget, but you certainly won't be getting a steel Daytona. So, Joe, don't be so fucking smug. Don't be so smug there. I think for 10 to 15, you could really build such a nice little collection. You could build a really nice little collection. I would say, you know what, I think a great watch to add to your Rolex would be a Tudor Black Bay Heritage. This is a no date Black Bay Heritage, 41 mil, slightly bigger, more girthier than your Rolex, but this would be a perfect piece to pair to your beautiful vintage sub. You could probably get one of these for about $3,000 US, brand new, and that's I reckon that'd be a fantastic piece to have there. Another, not expect, I mean that's $3,000 US on the market. It's not a ridiculous price. Something really nice. I would go for a pre-ceramic. This is a pre-ceramic Explorer 2. You can pick these up for $5,000 to $6,000 US. These are a 90s. This is a 2000s watch, but from the 90s. Well, they came out in the 80s, but 90s and 2000s, you'd get a nice example of one of those there. The other thing I would get is, as a nice, if you want to build a nice little collection, I think a great classic watch is the Moon Watch. The Moon Watch, the Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon. You can buy one of these brand new from Joma Shop for about 35, a little bit, maybe a little bit more, $3,500 US. That's not bad. So for me, I think, Joe, look, you're 67 years old. Let's be honest. If you haven't bought a Daytona by now, I don't think you can go in there with your smugness and just pick one up. It doesn't quite work like that, Joe. Joe, it doesn't work like that. If I were you, I'd definitely, I reckon I'd get a nice little collection happening. Tudor Black Bay Heritage, you get one of those, 3 to 4. So say 3. Explorer 2, 5 to 6. And a Speedy. That'd be a beautiful 4-piece collection. Very, very respectable. That's where I would be going. I think Daytona. I don't think you. I just don't get. I don't think you realize how hard it is to get a Daytona, particularly a steel one. So that's what I get. 3 beautiful watches there. As far as the Breguet goes, look. I want to be honest with you, Joe, and I tell it like it is, sunshine. I don't think you really appreciate the Breguet, Joe. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to put you down. Not trying to be an asshole. But if you're 67 and only now starting to get into watches, Joe, you fucking missed the boat, sunshine. You missed the fuck. It's like my old man getting into watches. Stick with Rolex, Tudor, and Omega. These exotic brands like Breguet, I don't think that's quite a good fit for you. Okay, they're a lovely watch, but I don't think that's it. The Omega Seamaster Professional, the 007. Ooh, stay away from anything Bond tie-in. They're very, very cheesy. Very, very cheesy. Stay away from that. IWC Pilots. No, I'd stay away from that. Breitling Navitime. Breitling Navitime is nice, but Joe, you'd probably fuck it up and get one of the ETA movement ones because it was cheap. I think that's those 3 watches I've advised you would be building a very nice collection indeed. Just walk before you run, okay, Joe? You're a little bit of a smart ass. I get a bit of a smart ass vibe from you. I know you're 67, but 67's not that old. But let's be honest, Joe. Don't be a smart ass. It's not. I think you got to ease into the hobby. I'd go Tudor Black Bay Rolex Explorer 2 and an Omega Speedmaster. Man on the fucking moon, 1969. It's kind of the man on the moon. We went to the moon, fuckers. We went to the moon. So that's kind of where I would be going. I reckon that's kind of the place I would go if I were you. If you're a mature collector, that's where I would go. Whatever you do, Joe, take care of that vintage Rolex. Do not send it to Rolex for servicing. A good friend, Kenny Nguyen, he doesn't sponsor me anymore, but he does good work restoring. Ring him, Kenny Nguyen, Jewelers on Time. Say, hey, I've got a vintage Rolex. I'd like to get it overhauled. I got to keep the hands and the dial original. I want to keep it original as possible. What do you recommend? Get a quote. That's what I would be doing. That's what I would do. Don't be a bit of a smart ass, Joe. I can sense a bit of a smart ass vibe there. You can't just walk in, Joe, and you pick up a Daytona. Those days are over, Joe. So just take it easy. Be cool, and enjoy yourself. I'm Paul Pluta. This is the Paul Pluta channel. Remember, like, subscribe, tell your fuckhead friends. Don't forget, subscribe to the ArchieLuxury corporate channel. And don't forget, a few nasty comments below for Joe. Never goes astray. So, see you later, fuckers.
You know, the poor pontiff, he struggles to eat all those reef and beefs to meet the demand that is placed upon him. It's not easy being an international YouTube celebrity. He's given us everything he has to give, and he might have hit rock bottom. But hey, let's take a look at where he's going now and what he's going to do next.
Hi guys, ArchieLuxury Corporate, the latest YouTube ArchieLuxury sensation. Well guys, what's happened? Well, I'm starting a clean, fresh channel. That's right, this is ArchieLuxury Corporate. And in this channel here, I want to increase the professionalism. I want to increase the professionalism of the ArchieLuxury channel.
So, obviously, it's going to be a wild success. You can tell already everything is new, different, and changed. So, hey, meet me over at the ArchieLuxury Corporate channel. Archibald Chesterfield III Corporate, a man desperately in need of our assistance and support, now more than ever. Have you been sending money abroad for Save the Children to some child in a third world country? Or have you adopted a puppy and been making payments to keep that puppy in a shelter? Well, I think it's time that you thought about this puppy right here, the man, the legend, the myth. He needs your help. I would say cancel everything and get on his Patreon. Or at least join me over at ArchieLuxury Corporate. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments.